Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heart Health Part 2, Optimizing Your Blood Lipid Numbers. This is Trudy Bledsoe. Tonya Patterson and I will be sharing some really valuable info for you tonight. We have over 50 years of combined experience in the field of health and wellness, and we work with a whole team of like-minded people. We've already done several webinars. Some of these include what does a nutritionist look for when choosing supplements. We've talked about gut health, blood sugar, stress, PMS, joint health, brain health, heart health. And tonight we're going to be covering how to optimize your heart health numbers. It is important to know that this info is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Please consult your physician before making changes in diet, exercise, and supplementation. So grab a notebook and pen and focus for the next 20 to 25 minutes. We think you will enjoy this info. In part one of this series about heart health, we looked at interesting facts about the heart. Imagine it pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood daily. It's an amazing machine. We also discussed the prevalence of prescription drug use as far as cholesterol lowering medication in the US, and it's pretty phenomenal if you look at this chart. These are the numbers that we went over in part one, and we discussed optimal levels of each one of these. Now, some of these are not routine tests that will be on, quote, your routine lab work. Some of them you might have to request, but all of them are very important as far as heart health is concerned. So if you want to know those optimal levels for each of these tests, make sure that you request part one of our webinar about heart health, and you'll be able to look at that and understand what they mean. Tonight, we're going to focus on optimizing those numbers. So why is heart health important? Many reasons. It's our main machine in our body, and sudden death is the first outward sign of heart trouble for 25% of heart attack victims. That's pretty alarming. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of hardening of the arteries, but perhaps this explains it a little more in detail. At the top, you have an artery with good blood flow, and then you can see as plaque is starting to build up. The gold is the plaque. So kind of think about the plaque that builds up on your teeth that only the dentist office, they have to clean it off. It's hard, we can't get it off. Well, think about it in those terms. It's just not going to normally just go away. So this is how the plaque builds up in our arteries. And as the artery gets closer and closer to being filled, then we're going to either have a stroke or a heart attack. It's just imminent. It becomes more imminent the more closure we have on that artery. So it's very important to know some things that we can do to be proactive about that. Now, just how big are those arteries? Well, about the size of a drinking straw. So we really don't have very much room in there to play around with. There are many factors that contribute to these, to the hardening of the arteries, and these are smoking, alcohol, stress, inflammation, side effects of prescription meds, poor liver function, lack of certain vitamins. All kinds of things can contribute to these factors as far as hardening of the arteries. And the liver, that is a main contributing factor. And we will be talking about the liver in one of our following webinars, so you want to be sure to ask for that also. So let's jump right in and focus on how to optimize your numbers. We'll be discussing food, fitness, and supplements, and I'm turning it over to Tonya.
Thanks, Trudy. Okay, we're going to start with a heart healthy eating plan because that should be the foundation of all of the protocols that we use to improve our health. We can't make excuses for a poor diet and then expect to have good health. So let's talk about what that looks like for just a second. When it comes to heart healthy eating, there are so many different programs available that claim to benefit heart health. A lot of weight loss programs have heart healthy claims added to them. You can see just a few of those on the screen. So if you're trying to not necessarily lose weight, but to eat in a way to benefit heart health, it can get really overwhelming just sorting through all of the information and knowing which one is actually effective. So of all of the heart healthy eating plans, what is the most effective? How do we know? It can be so overwhelming. Well, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So it is important to have a plan and to know what that plan is and to follow it well. What is the most proven plan for optimizing your heart health numbers? Well, actually, it's a personalized eating plan. One that you work out with a professional, a nutritionist like myself, or someone who has experience in this area to look at your lifestyle, your blood lipid profile numbers, your risk for diabetes, and your family history of heart disease, and then create a plan that takes all of those things into consideration specifically for you. Now, you can go to my website, liveamazing365.com, and you can inquire about personalized eating plans. But if you're going to start somewhere that you can just get information on, the Mediterranean eating plan is probably the most heart healthy plan available out there. So what are the components of a proven heart healthy food plan? Well, it would include high fiber. And by high fiber, I mean a minimum of 25 grams of fiber a day. And you have to track it. It's not enough to just say, well, I eat my fruits and vegetables, so I'm sure I get adequate fiber. You really have to track it with an app or keep up with it in some way to know that you're getting adequate fiber. And if you have high cholesterol, really 35 grams is more ideal for high cholesterol or diabetes. Healthy fats, lean proteins, lots of vegetables, and that does not include white potatoes. When talking about green vegetables, bright colored vegetables, and then berries. Of all the fruits, berries are probably the most advantageous to heart health. And then it's not just about what you consume, it's also about what you need to avoid. If you have blood lipid numbers that are not ideal, you're going to want to avoid fast food, fried food, processed food, sugar especially, trans fats, artificial sugars, and those things are most commonly found in things like pastries and biscuits, sodas, all sugary foods, of course, convenience foods, fatty meats, and processed meats. Those are the things that you would want to avoid. Now, when it comes to heart healthy fitness, there are a couple of components that are proven to benefit heart health numbers. So let's look at the main one of those. The first is cardiovascular exercise. That is the most critical form of exercise that you can do to help improve your heart health. It helps with weight loss, enhances circulation, it reduces the health risk for diabetes and heart disease, and it increases heart and lung capacity. The goal is, regardless of your current fitness level, is to elevate your heart rate to a healthy range based on your age and your fitness level, and to challenge your cardiovascular system. Those are activities like rowing, cycling, swimming, climbing stairs, being on an elliptical machine, or high-intensity interval workouts. All of those are good examples of cardiovascular exercise. The goal would be to have 150 minutes of cardiovascular activity each week, and you can split that up over the course of several days. Of course, you wouldn't likely do that all in one day. That would be divided up over the course of several days. Now, proven heart healthy supplements. So if we want to change our heart health numbers and reduce our risk, it's not just about diet and exercise. Supplementation is also a really critical part of that equation, because we just can't eat enough of the heart healthy foods in order to make a difference for optimal health. We can eat enough of the right foods to reduce our risk of deficiency diseases, but not for optimal health. Supplements are a critical component of the equation, but not just any supplements. You've got to know that the supplements that you're choosing are safe, tested, proven, and guaranteed. When it comes to supplements, you need to know who you can trust. As evidenced by this x-ray, where you can see the circles are vitamins that are completely unabsorbed, undissolved, leaving the body. So it's really important to know that the supplements you take are even dissolving and being utilized in your system, which is why more than 20 years ago, I chose Shaklee Corporation as my brand partner, because my health is worth being certain, and so is yours. The Shaklee difference for me is evidenced in this one slide. Over 100 published clinical studies, more than 100 patents on their products, also 100,000 quality control tests every single year, and testing for things like mercury, heavy metal, lead, arsenic, pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, all things we do not want in our supplements. But the biggest reason for me in using Shaklee is something called the landmark study. It's the longest nutritional supplementation study that's ever been performed to date. And it compared the health and nutritional status of 3 groups of people based on the previous 20 years. Group 1 didn't use any supplements at all. Group 2 only used a multivitamin, and it was a variety of brands. And Group 3 used multiple Shaklee supplements. Now, the important thing to note about this study is it wasn't conducted by Shaklee. It was independently conducted by Gladys Block, who's a professor of epidemiology and public health nutrition at the University of California, Berkeley School of Public Health. And you can find out more about that study at landmarkstudy.com. But in short, as it relates to heart health and cardiovascular disease, the group that had used Shaklee products for the previous 20 years had 33% lower triglyceride levels, 36% lower homocysteine levels, 59% lower C-reactive protein levels, and 11% lower cholesterol ratios, all significant markers for cardiovascular disease and long-term health. What was interesting is the Shaklee group was the oldest group of the bunch. And as far as diabetes is concerned, out of 100 people, Shaklee users had only 2.9 cases of diabetes, where the people who used just a multivitamin had actually 11.1 cases in that group. And the group with no supplement use had 8.5 cases. So if you will note here, the single supplement users had more cases of diabetes than ones who had used no supplements at all. And we can speculate why that might be, but in my opinion, science, safety, and proof really make a difference. Not all supplements are created equal. And in my opinion also, it is better to use no supplement at all than to use a supplement that you don't know for certain is safe and clinically tested and proven to work. Now, also noted was that Shaklee users averaged less than 1 prescription annually. And that's significant considering the fact that, according to the American Pharmacy Association, the average American under the age of 65 fills almost 8 different prescriptions annually, and people over the age of 65 filled 19 different prescriptions annually. And we know that prescription drugs always have side effects, but Shaklee supplements only have side benefits without the side effects. So it's important for us to be proactive about our health. Sometimes medications are inevitable, but where we can, using supplements to support optimal health is the way to go. So in summary, the result of the landmark study is this. The study proved that Shaklee users had better biomarkers for health than people who used other brands or people who used no supplement at all. And that is what gives Shaklee the authority from the FDA to make the health claim on the Vitalizer Daily Strip that it's clinically proven to create a foundation for a longer, healthier life.
So where do we start? Well, my husband is a builder. And when you build any kind of structure, you want to start with a firm foundation. Now, as far as supplements, that foundation would be the Vitalizer Daily Strip and protein. They're synergistic, and when you put both of those in, they work together synergistically to make your body better. So let's talk a little bit about Vitalizer women. Well, just Vitalizer. It comes in women, for men, or for people over 50. But this is what we call a foundation based on 12 clinical studies, including that landmark study that Tonya just talked about. It's guaranteed to help you feel better in 30 days or get your money back. And it's really convenient. It's a daily strip, and it supports heart health, which is what we are all talking about tonight. Supporting heart health. This would be the place to start. And you can see the picture of it right here on the left. It's you just take it with you. Take some in the morning, put them in your pocket or your purse, take them during the rest of the day. But I want to point out here that fish oils, right down there where it says Corrado E Omega, this has ultra pure omega-3 fatty acids, sustainably sourced from wild fish. And if you've done any research, you probably know that fish oil can be very contaminated, but the Shaklee fish oil is very pure. And over on the right, we have what's called the Smart Delivery System, which means these supplements are actually delivered into the system, into your body, in the places where they are absorbed. That's a little bit about the Shaklee difference there in the Shaklee technology. Now, the Life Shake is very important as a building block because protein is the building block of every cell, the trillions of cells. It's the building block of every cell in your body. And this shake has 6 grams of protein. It's a source of omega-3s. It has no cholesterol. It's been clinically proven to support healthy blood pressure and to support healthy blood sugar. And it's ultra pure pharmaceutical grade. So when you put the Life Shake and the Vitalizer together, you have a solid foundation. If your goal, if you were not happy with the numbers you saw on some of these tests that we talked about in our first webinar about heart health, then here's a list of what you would add to that foundation. Everything, of course, should start with that foundation of the Vitalizer and the protein. So if your goal is to optimize your cholesterol, your HDL, your LDL, or your ratio, then you would want to add Shaklee's product called Cholesterol Reduction Complex. And Tonya will explain that in a minute, how it works. If your goal is to optimize triglycerides and A1C, you would consider adding B complex, homocysteine, B complex, C-reactive protein, vitamin C. If you want to optimize vitamin D, you would add vitamin D3, optimizing omega-3s, add Omega Guard, optimizing blood pressure, add Omega Guard. Tonya, tell us a little bit about how cholesterol reduction complex works.
Well, this is a really unique product because it uses the natural plant sterols and stanols to kind of take up the receptor sites for cholesterol in the body, which I'll explain in a second. But it's clinically proven ingredient supported by more than 80 studies to lower LDL cholesterol. And that's, of course, the less healthy or the transportation molecule for cholesterol that dumps it into the arteries around your heart. It delivers 100% of the sterols and stanols recommended by the National Institutes of Health, and it is FDA approved with the claim that it can and does reduce cholesterol. It's really a phenomenal product. So let's talk about how it works. If you think about your body having cholesterol receptor sites, because if you refer to part 1, we talked about that your cells need cholesterol. Your brain uses a lot of cholesterol. We just don't need an excess of cholesterol. That's what contributes to arteries becoming clogged. And so we have receptor sites for cholesterol in our body, and they're like seats on a bus. And once all of the seats on the bus are filled, there is no more room. The way that cholesterol reduction complex works is with its natural plant sterols and stanols. They are similar in structure chemically to animal-based cholesterols. And so your cholesterol receptor sites will receive the plant sterols and stanols, which takes the more potent animal-based cholesterols and leaves no room for them on the bus. And then your body, if your liver is functioning effectively the way that it should, then your body will dismantle the excess cholesterol and eliminate it so that it doesn't elevate your cholesterol level and put you at risk for clogged arteries.
We have several people who are keeping their cholesterol under control using that product also. And a little bit about those other products. B complex helps control homocysteine, triglycerides, A1C, helps to regulate blood sugar. It's all of the 8 B vitamins in balance. And keep in mind that lots of things deplete B vitamins, including stress and sugar. Vitamin C fights inflammation. It also builds red blood cells and protects your blood vessel walls. It boosts your good cholesterol. It helps high blood pressure, and it helps control homocysteine. A little bit about vitamin D. It supports cardiovascular function. It reduces inflammation. And D3 is the equivalent to the D3 that's formed on our skin from the sunlight. It's also converted by the liver if your liver is working correctly. It's converted by the liver and kidneys to its active and usable form. Omega Guard is the product that Shaklee, oh my goodness, they're so excited about this product and the quality of it because it's the full spectrum of 7 ultra pure pharmaceutical grade omega-3s. It supports healthy heart and cardiovascular system. It helps to retain healthy triglyceride levels, and it's pure. That's the thing that really jumps out here. They go through a multi-step molecular distillation process that removes all those heavy metals you see, like lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and so forth. It also suppresses formation of trans fats and minimizes the odor there. So, Tonya, tell us how, in summary, to optimize our numbers.
All right, so I know that's a lot of information and it can feel a little overwhelming, but let's break it down to the basics. First of all, you start with the foundation, a heart healthy eating plan, a dedicated fitness routine, and a proven basic supplement plan that helps to optimize what you're doing with your eating plan and your fitness routine. All three components are critically important because heart health is like a puzzle and all of the pieces work together to give you a whole result. And if you were to leave out one component, if you were to just take supplements and exercise and to think that's enough, it isn't. We don't want to undo in the kitchen what we work so hard for in the gym. It's really important that we have all the pieces together. Supplements are never an excuse for a poor diet, and a good diet is never an excuse not to exercise. So we need all of those pieces together so that we have a heart healthy foundation that gives us a long and healthy life. And just a reminder that our health is our responsibility. We want to make sure that we're proactive because it is much cheaper to prevent a cardiovascular event than it is to pay for surgery and to recovery after one. And of course, no one wants to actually go through that. So it's important for us to take responsibility for our health and to do the things that we know we can take charge of to optimize our health. So when it comes to food, high fiber, lean protein, very low in trans fats, very low in sugar, and adequate hydration. Fitness, the goal is 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise each week. And then when it comes to supplements, Vitalizer and Life Shaker are your foundation, and then refer back to the information that we gave you for targeted solutions for the areas that are specific needs of numbers that you want to bring more into line. And for more information about these things or to inquire about a personalized program, you can visit my website at liveamazing365.com. And now we're going to do the most exciting part that everybody loves, which is the Q&A. So give us just a second. We're going to turn off the recording and then we will answer your questions.